webinar. We're privileged to have with us Paul Moukhin, a seasoned professional in the world of crypto funds. Paul is not just an expert in his field, but a guiding light for many who navigate the complex waters of crypto funding. His insights and experience have shaped the success stories of numerous projects, and today he's here to share that wealth of knowledge with us. And today, Paul will be addressing a topic that is at the forefront of everyone's mind: how do crypto funds evaluate projects in 2023? As we delve deeper into the world of crypto, understanding how projects are evaluated by funds becomes crucial. Paul will guide us through this process, shedding light on the key factors that crypto funds consider when evaluating projects. And now, without any further delay, it's time to welcome Paul Moukhin. We're all looking forward to diving into your insights. Paul, the virtual floor is all yours.
Hey everyone, I hope you are still fresh, and I believe after such excited speaking session from Nelly, it's absolutely. So let me share my screen and talk a little bit regarding to how the crypto funds evaluate the projects in this year. So this topic is quite wide, but I do my best to highlight the basics, and please feel free and ask me any questions if you want me to be deeper in somewhere. So let's start. A few words about me. I'm the partner of the BDC Consulting. We are the consultancy firm and provide strategic and execution 360-degree services for the startups from Web3 since 2017. And we work with this space from the different angles, and as the service provider, as an investor, as the partner, and working with lots of the startups and lots of investors. We see these gaps and bottlenecks and red flags which stop this process and make it very sophisticated for the both parties. And in this case, we decided to launch our own product. It's something like the Crunchbase and Moody's rating for Web3. We called it Let's Rise. It is the scoring index for the startups to highlight them where are on their way and what are the possibilities them to fundraise. And also this is the tool for VCs and investors to decrease the amount of spending hours for startup evaluation. So let's go. The startup scoring. The generals. Here you can find out the basics. What topics you should to highlight when you start negotiation with investors. There are the few of them, and the next slides I will give the additional comments for each one. So let's start from the first question. How do you think which one first? Where do you have to spend more attention before you start pitching the investors? Just put some answers to YouTube chat. I'm looking here and see everything you write. Yeah, I see your answers. Market size and market traction. Thanks, Elvin. Okay, so feel free to continue and tap your answers. And how do we see, how do I understand this? In our point of view, there are 3 layers of scoring for each startup. As previous speakers told before, you should understand that every analytic, every investors, before he start looking deeply into each startup, he have hundreds of startups. So, but his time is really limited. And each startup and his basic information should be very clear and understandable for the investor to decide, is he really ready to put the startup into his pipeline or not? Because from thousands, or from hundreds of pre-scored startups, only a few % of them are going to the pipeline. Just imagine how much of them. And in our point of view, so the first layer at the pre-pipeline scoring, every investors look to the product and its stage. So the product should be relevant for the current market, and its stage is very important. I mean, does it have any commercial traction, or just MVP, or just an idea? The team. So great team can do great products, and even if the basic ideas have the sharpness, the great team can do the great idea. Traction. That's mean, what are the evolution of your product, of your startup? Are there any changes there, or you're on the superstar bottom? And the valuation. So each niche, each type of projects, each industry has their benchmarks of the valuations. And if you start negotiation with investors and say, hey guys, we are gamified projects and we are on the very early stage, and our valuation is 40 mil. So you are out of the market, guys. And no matter what you will do next, you are out of the market. The second layer is the pipeline. So the pipeline includes much more topics and segments you should to describe. You should to do the homework before. They can include this one you can see on my screen, from the target markets, strategies, your competition, technologies, terms, and financial part as well. Lots of the information regarding these topics Nelly has described before. And the third layer is the invest committee. This is when you are already get money, but not yet. And this is very close analysis process for you at the startup, when the bench of the analysts, technical people relevant to your topic, screen your project, your documents, your team, etc. So it's for sure include the layer 1 and 2, and also some custom and very niche aspects. So let's go further and start from the target market. One moment. Let's start from the product and attraction, and then we go to the target market. So what is the traction? Traction is how your product move or do not move. And for sure, every investor wants to see the product which have the already revenue, which have the sustainable financial model to earn money, and evaluation is low, and there are some ability to invest. But there are the super lack of projects with this situation. So that's mean that you have to pay attention, how could you show the traction? So the commercial one, as I mentioned before, is the revenue. And for sure, when you highlight your revenue data, you should focus on commercial metrics. For example, such as the MRR for SaaS product, or LTV for the bench of the products, or TVL for some kind of the ecosystem or DeFi products, etc. If you do not have commercial traction yet, so think, how could you ensure the investor that your project potentially could be the unicorn. Here could be your user base and their dynamics. The registration, the using the platform, probably they do not still pay for your products, but they use them, they invite their friends, etc., or something else. The GitHub commits, your technical milestones. This is everything show to investors that you do not sit on the same place. You move and you grow as the product. That could be the complete tests for your beta testers and their conclusions. Any kind of reviews of your early adopters, partnerships of the advisors, investors, industrial players, etc. So if you have signed the letter of interest, for example, or other evidence that you are already work with them, it's great as well. If you at least do not have even this, so start cooperate with your friends and family and include their feedbacks, for example. Try to get the audits from the auditors companies, for example, the technical audits that say that you are a highly secure product. Probably you have any kind of the agreements with launch pads if you are going for the token sale campaign or exchange, or for example, you have the grant commitments. That's also very important. The second topic is I want to discuss is the target market. If you want to build $1 billion company, build a product in the multi-billion-dollar market. So if you want to be the unicorn in very small market, that's mean it's almost impossible to be this unicorn or multi-billion company. And it's important topic and a question how to count your market. We can make this short exercise how to make this. So for example, if your potential evaluation would be 1 billion, that's mean that you're a unicorn. That's mean that you have to generate 2 mil revenue annually. Ask this question to yourself, how could you generate this revenue? Is it possible or not? And then ask yourself, what is the percentage of market share this revenue is? If it's more than 5%, usually it's extremely hard to achieve these goals because of the competition. So this is why it's much more important to go to those industry and market which have much higher evaluation as the market than the current one, for example. So the small exercise, let's do this. We do not have a lot of time. I just try you to describe my logic, and these numbers you will see, they're going to be some kind of the mistakes, but the main point is how to count. So this exercise took for me something for about 15 minutes. So for sure, you need to spend more time to make the estimation. For example, ZK ecosystem. What is this serviceable obtainable market for this industry if you are the ZK product? So let's start from counting the total addressable market. How could we do this? Where could we find the resources? First, they start to Google and they try to find out the reports from research companies. And please combine different reports with each other to be ensured that their numbers are on the same line, okay? In our example, I opened the coin market cap for today and highlighted that the current addressable market is 1.2 trillions at least. What is the service addressable market for the ZK ecosystems? I also opened the statistics from the CMC and find out that there are 10.4 billion as the addressable market. Logically, after this step, we should decide what percentage of the market share you as the project want to catch. But here could be the mistake, because for example, you are targeting for 5% of the market, but the amount of market, the addressable market, at least, does not mean that it is that there are enough of demand for the current market from the final customers. And when I was calculating, I decided to make to compare the current sum with the leading projects. And I decided that the amount of addressable market of the leading projects are more relevant to achieve than the whole market. And we see that there are just 4 billion. Okay, sound through, sorry, 3.4, but sorry, it's like the 4 billion, not the 10.4. And in this case, we decided that 5% of this market, our product want to catch. And the final calculation is something for about 170 million. It is the 5% from the serviceable addressable market. But it's not the 5% from the total service of addressable market, okay? Just the logic. Let's go for the next point of the scoring for the startups is the business strategy and the business model. I believe most of you have heard about the Lean Canvas and what is it. So please do this home exercise. It's super important. When you feel all of these directions in the Lean Canvas, you will have the clear picture how your projects will be on the current market. How will you attract the new customers, your revenue streams, the acquisition, your competitors, etc. So firstly, do this for yourself. And after this, you can multiply this information to your pitch decks and make the description for your investors. There are the bunch of videos how to fill the Lean Canvas. Team. For sure, smiling people as the team is important. But if there is lack of information regarding the experience, it is the red flag. So the ideal picture is that when the team has deep experience in the area where they work. For example, the problem of the Web3 games is that the founders of Web3 games, they are not from gaming industry. So they think regarding the game in the corner from the DeFi and earnings. But games are created for entertainment, not just the earning. So this is the concern. The core team have the significant experience. So you have had to do something in your field, including the business development experience. I mean, in business development experience means that you have already experience to make your own business. So you understand how to do this, not just the product. Your team should be fully engaged in the projects. If you are the part-time players, it's a red flag for investors, because if you do not fully focusing on your product, so that's really hard to succeed. But there are lots of the startups, even they have the not full engaged team in their products, but usually they're serial successful entrepreneurs. And all necessary competencies are represented in-house. So what does it mean? If you outsource some of the core services your product provides, it's also the red flag. So for example, if you are the wallet and you say that we are the #1 wallet with the, and your additional value is the UX and UI, but your UX and UI manager or designer on outsource is a red flag. This is your core competence and you should have it in-house. So let's check, are there any questions?
Yep, we have one question before you started, but maybe you can answer it too. So the previous speaker, Nelly, said that you need to reach to many VC investors, but most of them don't reply or just pass without giving a feedback. How to deal with that? How to make investors more responsive to founders?
Great question and a great topic. So this topic mostly related to sales approach and outreaching strategy. That's okay if you, okay. It's very strange when your funnel looks like the pipe. So for sure, the sales approach is always the struggling. Usually you do not have the answers for your replies. So make the additional touches. Make the ABC testing for your topics. And be clear in the basic information you provide to the investor for the first time. This means the product, the problem you're solving, your main metrics and attraction, and then your letter could be some kind of the call to action. So please give us the feedback for our product, as an example. Okay. Deal terms. So regarding to the deal terms, in ideal picture, so you have to have the good valuation. It shouldn't be too high. For investor is better than it is the lower than the market benchmark. Availability for the co-investors. So for example, you do not, so you should have the available places for the investors, but not so much. Previous investment track, it's very important. So there are some types of the VCs. To be honest, I think that most of the VCs and investors make their investment decision if some tier 1 investors make the decision to invest before. So they look to the investors, high qualified investors, and if they invest, they start looking into the startup, or in the bullish market, they even could not make any kind of scoring. They just believe that, okay, as at 16 make the investments and I will do it as well. Shares and adequately allocation. So this is about equity or allocations and your shares distribution, your strategy for the future rounds. So the financial model and investment strategy should be prepared very well. Usually it's a bottleneck for the startups. Just do not hesitate to get the consultation from the people who are in the financial field for this point. And sure, the founders have the clear idea how will they use these investments. So it's like the roadmap. How will you use these funds in future? I think basically that's all main points I just wanted to highlight. Let me open the general slide with the scoring points, and let me know if you need any clarification for them. I will give more details.
Yeah, so we have two more questions. First is from Bertie Range. How do you approach total addressable market, service addressable market when you lie between two genres?
For me, it's not clear what does mean when you lie between the genres.
Yeah. I'm not really. I don't really understand that too.
Okay,
So
okay,
Bertie, please.
okay. I think it's clear for me. So, Bertie, do you understand? You're right that your product is between industry 1 and industry 2, and it's hard to decide which industry to count. So, in my point of view, you solve some typical problems for the final customers, and you have the competition who solve these problems as well, and they could be from the different spaces, so these different industries. So you need to understand what industries are, and for example, and what is the market share of this industry is related to your problem. So for example, logistic, it's a giant industry, but rather supply chain direction, and supply chain as the technology and service fits just for the part of the companies. For example, the medical tech, agro tech, or something else. And that's mean you understand that the medical tech from the whole logistic, it's 25%. That's mean that from the whole market, you're part of the 25%. Make the assumptions, make the contents, and then try to validate your idea with the industry experts and the VCs. So if you need money, go to the investors to get the advice. If you need the advice, go to the investor and ask him for the money. Okay, so validate the ideas.
Okay, so next question is from Terra Global Sales Partners. They say that we are looking at pre-seed funding. As a gaming studio, we have 6 game titles lined up. In such case, do we assess valuation per vertical or in gen?
In general.
Yeah.
You should do your homework to find out the current valuations for the Web3 games in general. What are the current valuations for the early stage rounds? The last information I had in my head is subjective, but in general, for the early stage projects, the valuations should not be more than 20 mil in Web3 in general. So it could be higher or lower, but it is something like this. So see in general, but topic of the Web3 gaming is also very wide. If you just have the game, so its valuation as the game could be X, but if there are the ecosystem of the games, and if there are the bench of liquidity inside, if there are some kind of the DeFi services, if there are third-party teams who integrate with you, that's mean that you are like the ecosystem product. So your valuation in this case would be higher than the just valuation of the game. But the requirements for you as the gaming ecosystem is also much more high. So think twice where to start.
Perfect, thank you. And one more question from Alban Richard. Any scoring on tokenomics is used? Inflationary, allocations, use case, math formulas on the economic models?
Okay. So it is the technical documentation which is required regarding it's a financial block. So in general, as I mentioned, it is in general. For sure, it's very important. It's extremely important for the crypto projects. You need to have the business model, financial model, tokenomics, unit economy as well. And you should to ensure the investors why your tokenomics is sustainable. So use the simulation modeling as well. So there are some services which do this simulation modeling just to make the forecast what will happen with your product when you have 100K users, for example. Because when you have 10K users, the tokenomics could be sustainable. But when there are 100K, that could be going to be the default, for example. So it's, yes, for sure, it's also important.
Thank you. I think that was the final question. So thank you, Paul, for your deep dive into the world of crypto funds and their evaluation process. Your insights are invaluable and will certainly guide many in their crypto ventures. As we transition to the end of this enlightening session, I would like to take a moment to express our deepest gratitude to our esteemed speakers, Moukhin, Nelly, Orlova, and Paul Moukhin. Your insights and expertise have truly enriched our understanding, and we're grateful for your time and contributions. And a special thanks to all of you who joined us today. Your participation and engagement have made this webinar a success. We hope you find the discussions informative and valuable. Before we part ways, I would like to remind everyone about our upcoming demo day. It's an opportunity not to be missed. Remember to submit your pitch decks to the Growly Telegram bot by the 28th of July. We'll handpick 10 decks, pitch on demo day, but rest assured, our experts will review every pitch deck we receive. The 3 winners of the demo day will receive exciting rewards, including the opportunity to share their pitch deck with 500 Web3 investors, exclusive one-on-one sessions with our esteemed speakers, and free premium access to InMind. So gear up and make the most of this opportunity. Once again, thank you all of you for being a part of this webinar. We look forward to seeing you at the demo day. Until then, take care and keep innovating. Cheers.